You're about to yawn. Maybe not right now, but somewhere in the next few minutes, reading about this, watching this, your jaw is going to stretch open, your eyes are going to water a little, and you're going to take one long, involuntary breath. It's happening right now, reading that sentence. To some percentage of you, that's not a trick. That's not a coincidence. That's one of the strangest, oldest, least understood behaviors the human body performs. And you do it about 20 times a day without ever asking why. Here's the question nobody asks, because the answer feels obvious. Why do we yawn? Everyone assumes they already know. You yawn because you're tired. Case closed. Except, you don't only yawn when you're tired. You yawn when you're bored. When you're anxious before a big presentation. When you're watching your dog yawn on the couch. Olympic athletes yawn seconds before stepping onto the track. Wide awake, hearts pounding, babies yawn before they're even born. So tired was never the whole answer. It was just the easiest one. For almost 200 years, science had a tidy explanation. You yawn because your brain is running low on oxygen, and the big breath tops it back up. It's a satisfying story. It's also wrong. Researchers tested it directly, raised people's oxygen, lowered it, had them breathe pure oxygen before a boring lecture. And yawning frequency didn't budge. The oxygen theory didn't survive contact with an actual experiment. It's been retired for decades. Most people just never got the memo. So if it's not oxygen and it's not just fatigue, what is it? Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Neuroscientists still don't fully agree. Not we're still confirming the details. Actually still debating the core mechanism for a behavior every vertebrate with a jaw seems to share. And it gets stranger. You don't just yawn on your own schedule, you catch it from a stranger across the room, from a video of someone else's mouth, from a sentence describing a yawn. You are, right now, more likely to yawn than you were 2 minutes ago, purely because you read the word 6 times. That's not sleepiness spreading. That's something else entirely, something your brain does automatically without asking your permission. Underneath the ordinary, everyday yawn is a genuinely strange piece of biology. Yawning is coordinated by the brainstem and the hypothalamus, the same regions that manage your sleep-wake cycle, body temperature, and stress response. A cascade of chemical messengers gets involved. Dopamine, oxytocin, nitric oxide. This isn't a lazy reflex. It's an orchestrated whole brain event. One of the leading theories, yawning cools the brain. Cover someone's forehead with a warm pack, and they yawn more. Cool it down, and yawning drops. A big inhale of room temperature air, followed by rapid blood flow to the face. It may be a built-in thermostat, keeping a hardworking brain from overheating. The evidence is real, but not yet conclusive. A second theory. Yawning is a state change switch, a way your brain forces a transition between alertness and drowsiness, boredom and focus, rest and readiness. It would explain why you yawn before sleep and right before a stressful event. Both are moments your brain needs to shift gears fast. And then there's the contagious part, the piece that might matter most. Watching someone else yawn activates some of the same brain regions involved in reading another person's state. Some researchers suspect this ties into how humans track and mirror each other's internal states, though that connection is still far from settled and it's one of the most contested corners of yawning research. What's better established is the pattern itself. You're more likely to catch a yawn from someone close to you, a partner, a friend, a sibling, than from a stranger. And humans aren't alone in any of this. Dogs yawn, wolves yawn, chimpanzees, gorillas, and bonobos yawn. And catch each other's yawns, sometimes even catching a yawn from a human. Lions yawn, horses yawn, even some fish and reptiles do something that looks remarkably like a yawn, species that split from our evolutionary line hundreds of millions of years ago. That timeline is the real reveal. Yawning may be older than mammals, older than warm blood, possibly older than legs on land. Evolution has kept this behavior running, unedited, across an almost unimaginable stretch of time, which means it's doing something valuable enough to be worth keeping. We just still don't fully know what. Here's the strange part to sit with. Yawning is one of the most common things a human body does, and it remains one of the least explained. Not because scientists haven't tried, because it turns out ordinary behaviors are often the hardest to explain. They're so automatic, so unremarkable, that nobody thought to question them until it was almost too late to find a simple answer. So the next time you feel that stretch building in your jaw, or catch it from someone across the room, you're not just tired. You're running a 200 million year old program, one every scientist studying it is still trying to fully decode. And there's a decent chance that somewhere in the last 10 minutes you already have,